Hi, this is Shayna with Against the Grain Homestead. Today in this video we're going to be making a natural soda, or you could call it a sparkling juice. This was a requested video, so let's get started. To make your natural homemade soda or your sparkling juice, you're going to need patience in order to wait a few days, and you can use any fruits you want. Just need a starter basically. So in this video we're going to show you how to make your starter, your fermentation starter, and then how to use your starter in order to make your sparkling juice or your natural homemade soda. Okay, so when it comes to making your fermentation starter, you can use any fruit you want. The first time I did it, I only used watermelon, and it was delicious. Then I used raisins, and then I used raisins mixed with cantaloupe. You can see this is my current starter right here. I've used some with watermelon, cantaloupe, and blueberries. I like the looks of that. It's just a pretty colorful view. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. You can use any fruit you want, like I said. So this is just a wide mouth pint jar. So I'm just going to fill it about, I don't know, half full, quarter full, whatever I want, of whatever fruit I want. So here I put in some watermelon. Just going to add a couple pieces of cantaloupe and just a little bit of these, a little bit of these frozen blueberries here. Okay, see, that's pretty. Okay, so now we're just going to fill it up to the neck here with water. And we have our own wells, so I'm just using straight well water. But if you have city water, county water that's been treated, chlorinated, fluorinated, you might want to use distilled water, store-bought spring water, or just let your water sit out overnight to help get rid of that chlorine and any, stuff like that that you don't want in here, because it could kill the yeast that's going to ferment this. So I'll be right back. As you can see, I just filled it up to here with the water. And now we need to feed this with some sugar to get it started. So I'm just going to do about a teaspoon of white cane sugar in here. I'm going to use a bamboo stick because I use a bamboo stick for everything. I'm just going to use it to stir it all around. Make sure that sugar gets distributed. And the water, it was not hot, it was not ice cold, it was just cool water. Okay, there. So, that's stirred in. Now, just take a lid and put it on, and it doesn't have to be very, very tight. I like these plastic lids because they're not airtight. There's no rubber seal, so they are not airtight. So it just helps to, I just, barely set it on here like that, okay? I don't tighten it down. I just kind of let it sit like that. And that just helps to, if you forget to burp it, it just helps to, for it to kind of give it some space to where it can burp itself. You do want to make sure that you burp this every day. You don't want to put it in a swing top bottle while you're doing this, because if you do forget to burp it, it could explode, or whenever you go to open the top of the swing top, and it's ready, it'll shoot up like a big champagne bottle like you see on those movies with the white foam shooting up like a geyser. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is this every day. So today is day 1. Okay, I'm going to date it for today's date, so 10/18. And fermentation starter. Okay, so what you're going to do, today's day 1, and we just fed it and made it. So tomorrow, day 2, I'm going to feed it another teaspoon of sugar. Day 3, I'll feed it another teaspoon of sugar. I'll do that for 3 to 5 days until it starts to get fizzy and carbonated looking, until it has a lot of bubbles. When it has a lot of bubbles, it is ready to use. But if you don't want to use it right away, just stick it in the fridge. Here's one that that I keep in the fridge. And even though I have this 2-piece lid with the rubber seal, I do burp this a couple times a day. I haven't burped it. It's about 1 o'clock now. I've only burped it once this morning, but you can see there's pressure in here. So I'm gonna burp it, and I hope you can hear the psst, the hiss. Did you hear that? See all that white foam and bubbles? Okay, now this one has been ready. We've already been making sparkling juices out of using this fermentation starter. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I want to go ahead and mention here that while this fermentation starter is forming, if you forget to feed it or if you overfeed it on the sugar, you could kill it. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you feed it every day for 3 to 5 days until it's fizzy, and then stick it in the fridge. Whenever you go to use some of this, okay, so this is our new one we just made. It's not ready yet. And this is one that has been ready, and I've been using it already. But whenever you go to use it, you will take off about 1/4 of a cup of the liquid, and then you'll add the 1/4 cup of this starter liquid to about 1 quart of juice in order to make your sparkling juice or your homemade soda. Now, what you do after you take off some of this liquid is you can add more fruit if you want. I haven't yet. I've been using this several times. I haven't added any more fruit yet. But you can add more fruit if you want, but you can just put the fruit that's already in here back in here. Now if it starts to get really mushy and broke down, then toss it. But you can add more fruit in here if you want. Just leave the fruit in here. But whenever you add more water to it, you need to feed it again. So whenever it's time to feed it again, after you've used some of it, and then you go to add more water to replenish what you've used, and then you need to feed it, add 1 tablespoon of sugar. Then after you feed it, let it kind of sit for a day and let it get some bubbles again, and then you can stick it back in the fridge. So how this works is the natural yeast on the fruit and then in the air comes in here and just starts the fermentation process. So the bubbles that you see is the natural carbonation from the yeast as they're digesting the sugars, okay? So, like store-bought soda, it's bubbly and it's fizzy, and when my oldest was really little, she used to call soda spicy. Anyhow, that is because that soda has been infused with carbon dioxide, okay? So this is natural carbon dioxide that the yeast makes as they are digesting the sugars. So you still get the bubbles, you still get the fizziness, the spiciness, okay? But with fermented drinks like this, it has health benefits. It can be good for some people's gut health. It has some probiotics and some good guys in here. But from my research, it can also be not a good idea for some people. Certain people that have like candida overgrowth, which is a type of yeast, if they have that, or people who are prone to candida overgrowth. I've read it both ways. I've read where, some say people that are prone or have candida overgrowth should not have kombucha, apple cider vinegar, homemade sodas. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they say they shouldn't have. But then other sources say, it'll help people with those situations. So, do your own research. But, okay. But that's this. I did have a friend come up. Now, I have never made kombucha. I've never had any interest in that. I don't know why. It's never appealed to me. We make our own vinegar and this stuff and sourdough and all kinds of other things and ferments, but kombucha has never appealed to me. But I have a friend, they came up this weekend, and I had him try some of the soda, and he really liked it, and he said that it reminded him of some types of kombucha. So, I don't know. To me, it just tasted like a carbonated juice. But I've never had kombucha, so I don't really know quite what to expect. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get some started here so you can kind of see how you put it together. Okay, so remember, this is fermentation starter that is done and ready to go. This is one we just made, so it could take, 3 days, 5 days for it to be ready for it to use. Okay, so to make your natural soda or your sparkling juice, you just take your fermentation starter, you take a 1/4 cup of it, and you mix it with the juice of your choice. So just like the fruit to start this with can be any fruit you want, the juice can be any juice you want. Now we have not bought juice in so many years just because, drinking straight juice, fructose juice, is not very good for you. So we actually have not bought juice in so many years, but I wanted to experiment with this, so of course I bought juice, and we really like it. We really like making this. It's just really neat. So now we have bought some juice. I think this is our 3rd jug. So the first jug we had was apple. It was just straight apple juice. The second jug we had was, I think it was like orange mango. And then now we have cranberry and grape juice mix. All right, so let's get our starter ready. All right. Can you hear that? Okay. So I'm just going to strain some of this off here. Just going to get a 1/4 cup of it, put it in here. Then we're just going to top this off with the juice. Let me go get my lid. Okay, we just put our lid on it and date it. All right, now I will let this sit over in the corner on a counter that I have in the kitchen, out of direct sunlight, but it'll be there to where every day I just kind of burp it like this, and I just watch for any foam and bubbles, and you can see right now on the bottom, hang on, right now on the bottom you can see there's no yeast or anything. I will, throughout this video, I will insert pictures or video clips as the process goes on so you can see start to finish. I should also mention, whenever you put your fermentation, your soda that's starting over there, and even this, okay, hang on. This will also stay out on the counter, all those days, and again, you'll just burp it each day. But no matter if you're fermenting, excuse me, no matter what you're fermenting, sauerkraut, fermented green beans, pickles, sourdough, soda, starter, anything, you want to keep your ferments separate, okay, because you don't want like cross fermentation. It could really make for some funky flavors, or it might make for some great flavors, who knows. But better safe than sorry, you just want to keep your ferments separate. Okay, now, so I put the fruit back in the jar, going to put that starter back in here. I'm going to feed it about a tablespoon of sugar. It's white cane sugar. Stir it up. Okay. I'm going to top it off with some water. Okay, so I added water up here to the neck of it. Just going to stir it up. Put the lid back on it. Okay, and this is going to sit on the counter for the rest of the day until I start to see some more active bubbles, and then I will stick it in the fridge. Whenever your soda is done, okay, so actually drinking the soda in my kitchen, what you just saw where I added the starter to the juice, in my kitchen at this time of year, it just takes 2 days and it's done. Okay, once there's bubbles, taste it, see what you think of it. If you like the flavor, it's done. Stick it in the fridge or drink it immediately. We like ours cold. If your kitchen's a little cooler, it could take a little longer. It could take 3 days or more. But, after a couple days, check it. Just make sure that you burp it every day, okay? Once it's done, though, and it's how you like it, from personal experience, I recommend drinking it once it's done. Drink it either that day, the next day, or maybe the next day, okay? So like within the first 3 days of it being done. Past that, in my experience, it gets more yeasty. So 1 quart that we made, when you open the lid, it was like 5 days old in the fridge. And we opened the lid and the smell of yeast was overpowering. It was so strong, so strong. But I knew that it would taste good, so I tasted it and it tasted amazing. My husband, he's like, that is good, but I can't get past the smell. So, so just keep that in mind. The longer it sits, the more yeasty smelling and tasting it will become, okay? And if it goes too long, so this process is kind of comes before the process of making wine, okay? All right, here is a little bit that we have left. This is 5 days old right now. It's been in the fridge. Can you see some of that yeast sediment right there? Okay. And of course I've been burping it every day. Okay, so for whatever reason, even though this one is 5 days old, like that one I just told you about, this one does not have the overpowering yeast smell, and it does not even taste yeasty. It just tastes sparkling, like a strong carbonated cranberry grape juice. Yes, fizzy in the mouth for sure.